Hi, it's Rick Nuske here, and I've just wrapped up a fantastic interview with the owner, director of Online Compliance Systems, Mr. Phil Bamford. And if you're a small business, medium business, large business, it doesn't really matter, and you're the person that's ultimately carrying the can for compliance, making sure people are safe, making sure that you can demonstrate you're doing what is reasonably practicable for you to do as a business owner, then this next video interview that we do together, Phil and I, is something you must take advantage of. Now, at the end of it, there will be a prompt to book yourself a demo, and I highly encourage you to do that. Especially if you're looking to win tenders, you're suffering growing pains, or maybe you've even recently had an incident and you're looking for ways to avoid that again. Having a demo of this system held by Phil himself is a game changer. The list of ecstatic, not just satisfied, ecstatic clients that he has is a long one. And I highly endorse the program, not only as an agent, but having used this particular software for many years a while ago now. I do highly recommend that you book yourself a demonstration with Phil. Now, you can do that at the bottom of this post. All you need to do is provide your name and your email. That information goes with me, stays with me. There's no marketing, there's no other commitments other than setting up a time to meet with Phil. So I hope you enjoyed the interview. If you have any questions or comments, or you liked what you see, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave some comments below.
Hey, going, Rick.
Hey, Phil, how are you, mate?
Fantastic.
Excellent. Righty. So, hi and welcome. My name's Rick Nuske of My Future Business, and today I'm here with Phil Bamford, the go-to guy at Online WHS. How are you today, Phil?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Rick.
That's excellent. So thank you very much for spending some time with us today, and I'm sure those who are interested in systems and compliance will get a lot out of this presentation. What have we got to talk about today, Phil?
Well, it's an online safety system, and called Online WHS. Literally, I'm changing the name soon to Online IMS because it's more than just a safety system.
Right.
When I kind of first started this, 10 years ago.
Yep.
I'm 4801, so but really it's actually come a long way since then to reach ISO accreditations.
Okay, fantastic. So is this aiming at the Australian market only, or is this wider than that?
It's wider than that. I'm actually just in negotiation to sign a license fee over to India. So also a company is interested in taking to the US as well. So yeah, lots of things are changing. That's why I will change the name from Online WHS instead of Work Health and Safety over here in Australia to IMS. So it's an international management system kind of thing. So integrated management system.
That's great news. Is this so when we're talking about integrated management systems, are we talking more than just the discipline of health and safety, or are we branching out?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. I do recall. Sorry to cut you off there, Phil. I recall a little while ago you had separate products. What's happening with those? They're obviously being integrated.
Yeah, exactly right. So the online HRS will actually integrate with this, or will not integrate. I'll actually be building all the really good modules in that one into the online IMS, as well as I'll be building the online WHS now currently has got this new feature, which is this audit feature, which is really, really good to, for those government kind of clients or people wanting to show quality. So I will be, it's got that in there, but I will be actually building some risk management models as in corporate risk instead of just hazard risk inside the system in the near future to really make it that IMS system.
Excellent. It's going to be very powerful, no doubt.
Yes.
Yes, so, today the whole intention is to introduce people to the system. And later on, if you don't mind, if we could talk a little bit about you outside of the scope of the business so people understand who you are. Would that be okay later on there, Phil?
Sure, absolutely.
Excellent. So, look, for everybody who's listening, let's kick off with Phil and let's learn a little bit about the system.
Yeah, so in this kind of presentation, Rick, what I've actually got, we'll learn why online WHS and us compared to our competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Learn a bit about target market and our clients. We'll have some testimonials from current clients using the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go through 10 of the major features inside the system, which are all interactive. You can actually, in the slide, or download a QR code reader and you'll be able to scan the QR codes on the screen and it'll literally bring up the forms on your phone. You won't even have to be logged in, so I'll show you that. It's a very good feature.
Yep.
And also how cost effective we are compared to all the other systems in Australia.
Right. Yep.
So why us? Why online WHS? Well, one is that I'm not a geek. I'm a businessman, and I had a business with 70 odd employees, and so I need to comply in those days, and took a local rundown council from 300,000, a local rundown council pool from 300,000 to 2.5 million in 5 years. So I made it small business to a large business,
Mm-hmm.
but I developed systems, and then from that there, I've actually created online WHS. So the system is an online system. As long as you've got an internet connection, you can use the system.
Yep.
We are bringing out an app version later this year. The QR codes really make it very accessible for all employee levels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's dummy proof.
So just Phil, just for our audience, I'm fairly certain they all understand what a QR code is, but really it looks like a little square box. If I'm correct there, Phil, you just have a little app on your smartphone and you place the camera over the top of that particular QR code space, and like that, you're looking at the data. Exactly. Is that right? Excellent.
They've changed a lot, and we'll get into that when we get down to the QR codes and in the features. But you're exactly right. The QR codes have changed a lot. They used to scan it, sit there, the little thing take ages, but now literally you point your phone at it and it will just bang, pick it up straight away. So, but the system is easy to use. There's also, you've got your QR codes, but there's also a to-do list. So you'll see that they only have to get one icon to do it. But the system also automates itself. It literally tells you what you need to do each day. So the thing with our system as well is that everyone can actually use this system. It's not just targeted for the WHS officer. It's actually targeted to make the WHS officer's world easy, because at the end of the day, it's all his employees or all the employees in the business who are entering data that's feeding him or her vital information so they can actually analyse to develop safe systems of work. So safety really is an entire business, and that's where other kind of systems get it wrong. Our competitors really kind of target just the WHS or IT guy, and the end user can't use it. So therefore, if the end user can't use it, it's useless.
Yeah.
So and then you're looking at one of the other kind of features in our system is that our system has like over 22 modules inside there, all these kind of features in there, whereas the competitors might have a risk management module or an injury management module. They'll start you off at a basic price and it'll just escalate dramatically in that kind of process.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the system here, we charge just on employee level, and it gradually goes up, $50 an employee, so it's not a huge amount, and you're looking at you get everything inside the system, whether you're a council or you're a two-man band. You're getting all the good features.
Excellent. So really, just so I understand absolutely what we're talking about here, we're essentially saying instead of just having a system where you have a cost, then it's plus, and it just escalates. It's based on additional employees, so that's one takeaway there. But earlier you talked about aiming at certain people, and I just had this thought about lead indicators and lag indicators. Can this be used as a lead indicator?
Yeah, what it does, you can actually see and identify things before they actually have occurred, but by implementing systems that it's got inside the system, you're actually reducing the likelihood, because you're actually getting that employee to work not only safer but also smarter. So it's and you're looking at some of our clients, like include these are our client kind of those. whole variety of clients here. So it, whether you're a builder or you're a pet barn, which is like mainly with their manufacturing area and warehousing, we've got Manly fast ferries here as well. We've got councils across Australia that use the system. We actually recently, well, not a year or so ago, we won the Willoughby Council tender over 17 other systems. Race in New South Wales, every race course in New South Wales uses this product.
That was something that you've had a fairly long relationship with Racing New South Wales, haven't you?
Yeah, 6 years we've been involved with them, so it's been a great relationship. We actually, they used our system to become self-insured. It really helped all the race courses and so forth, actually, with their prices. But large and small business, we've got a husband and wife team that won a $500,000 tender because of the system.
Oh, excellent.
So it's, they're going to be a client for life. This is when I try to say to people that, especially if they're in a smaller kind of company, they are going for tenders. And don't just look at this and hang on a sec, I've got to comply to this WHS or OHS, depending on what state you're in. At the end of the day, if you use it correctly, you can use it as a great marketing tool. I did a presentation to a client this morning down in Victoria. They're around about the 50 employee mark. They go for tenders all the time. I showed them the system, and I mentioned to them, I said, when you actually got your employee, you enter all the employees' qualifications inside the system, and it automatically develops a name tag with your name, logo, and all the employees' qualifications on that tag, and they go out to site. How impressive is that compared to your competitors? And at the end of the day, people are going to say, well, wow, this company's very professional, and you're going to win tenders.
Yeah.
So but our kind of councils is a big market for us. I recently did a presentation in front of 30 councils down in Victoria and 90 councils over in Western Australia. The insurance companies that insure them anyway. So and you're looking at companies with a warehouse, manufacturing companies, transport and deliveries. We've got a lot of transport companies that it's a big kind of compliance issue there, and you'll see with this QR code how it makes it easy for the transport, the truck driver to actually use it. But a whole variety of things, aged care, nursing homes, and service building companies. Franchise is a good market for us. It really, as you can see, it suits all kind of markets. So and then you're looking at, this, we picked up Questacon over 23 other systems in Australia. So this Questacon, big kind of government contract, they did their due diligence, looked at 23 systems, and they chose Online WHS. And the reason why, they said it was the most comprehensive but yet easy to use, to the point that the fellow who was on the panel decided to become an agent for us. That's how much he liked it. So, because he had never seen anything like it. And then the same thing, Willoughby Council, we won that over 17 other major systems in Australia. All the big players went for this government, this council, because it was a big council, and we won that. And Christine, she actually rang me up and quote unquote, and I said to her, can I actually use that quote? She goes, Phil, I've looked at all the other systems, and yours was the best by far. I just got to have it. That's what her exact words were. I've gone, can I use that? She goes, sure can. But they're a great client for us, and if any councils or any kind of people want a testimonial, they can speak to them, especially about the service that we also provide. We got Falls Creek, a good example down there is how diverse this system is. No matter what client you are, you can actually use this system. And then you're looking at, we've got agents right across Australia as well, so just like yourself. So we've got people that can help service the client as well as promote it. So the good thing is, no matter what kind of state you're in, we can actually help that person. So
that's great. That's excellent news. I mean, that one of the big things about this is not only just sharing this and making people feel aware that you exist there, Phil, and this system is available, but is to ultimately, and we'll get to that, and we'll talk about how they can get a demonstration.
Correct. So so in this kind of presentation as well, which Rick, you can send out and put on your website, whatever it may be. But this one here, this is this QR code that you were mentioning that I was raving about before. Is that here I've actually highlighted how easy it is on your phone. Everyone's got a mobile phone. They just go to the App Store, depending if they're got an iPhone or if they've got a Google Pixel, which I have, great phone. Or any other phone. So you just go in there, type in search QR code readers. You download QR code reader, they're for free.
Mm-hmm.
So it's but the system itself, when you're an admin user, this is what an admin user would see. These are all the kind of registers inside the system. Those kind of green, orange, and red icons are just highlighting if everything's up to date, anything needs a review, or anything needs to be done. But the admin user also has this admin panel where they can actually set up email alerts and build inductions and build meetings and all these different things, even for an example, set to-do items to be done daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it may be. But this is probably the reason why we're a little bit different than everyone else as well, is that the end user, that employee and manager, or if they've got multi-sites, so many companies are different. They're multi-sites and multi-departments. So you can enter as many sites in the system as you wish, but each one of those, when they log into the system, they don't see the user admin panel. They see just that little square with all those icons on it. That's what they see.
Yeah.
So they literally, all that data is now filtered for that very site. So I'll give an example of that. If you're a department that might have one section, it might be manufacturing, the other section might be sales. So people in manufacturing don't need to see what the people in sales are seeing. So you can actually filter all these documents and all this stuff to be independent. So it just makes it easier for the end user to use. So this feature here, you probably like this one. So so most employees have a qualification of some sort, and a lot of them need to undertake or have qualifications to undertake a certain role. Now, to do a training needs analysis, it takes an immense amount of time to identify that. So in the system, what you do is, when we get you set up, you actually relate certain qualifications and training modules to a position. We'll just say that the position is truck driver, for an example. So if the position was truck driver and they need to have the qualification of live haulage, do you know what I mean, for livestock haulage. So, and I relate Phil Bamford to the position of truck driver. And if I don't, in the system, you can enter all the person's qualifications. You can have alert date and expiry date, so the system alerts you before they expire. That's what you want. You can upload their certificate inside there, but you'll see that from that item there that it's highlighting that the tick is highlighting that they've got it. The E is highlighting that it's expiring, or a D is it's due, so it would have automatic email alerted you to say that this person is due. And the yellow is actually highlighting the training needs analysis, so it's highlighting that that person hasn't got that qualification. You can actually, up the top of the register there, you can see it's publish register. So I can publish that register out, and it gives me a variety of reports, all at a click of a button. It does it automatically. So once you set it up, it's set and forget.
Yeah, it's a very visual tool, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of HR kind of people will like that kind of process, because that is a big HR kind of process there. And then you're looking at this, like to-do list, for an example. So that one icon on that site icon page, an employee only has to hit one icon for them to tell them what they need to be doing on any given day. So instead of them going, well, how do I use this system and what do I do? Well, log into the system and just hit the one icon, the to-do list. It will tell you what you need to do. Your inductions have been assigned, or any qualifications coming up, or you want them to do a checklist, all those processes, because you can actually set, as the manager or the WHS officer or admin user, you can actually set a checklist or any item to be done daily, weekly, monthly, 6 monthly, 12 monthly, and assign it to an employee and set and forget. That's how easy it is.
That's amazing. At the end of the day, there are lots of moving parts in any management system, and so to have the ability to, have this centralized system where the manager can interact essentially with the worker in real time is going to save a lot of heartache, a lot of reduce risk exposure, I suspect, too. There, Phil.
Exactly right. And that you're looking at, that's where this feature here has even made it even easier. I mean, everyone's doing checklists and paper-based, and it's just time-consuming, so a lot of times they don't even end up doing it. So it's in the system, you can actually create your own checklist inside the system. So you're literally creating your own online checklist. So those checklists they've currently got, not wasted. You just literally hit add, enter a header, add, enter a question, add, enter a text box, add, enter a question, build the checklist.
Yep.
When you build that online checklist, you can relate it to an activity, a machine, a policy, a compliance. So when someone actually undertakes that checklist, it automatically doesn't just save it in the checklist log, it saves it in all the other logs to show a true compliance. I'm doing this checklist to meet this policy for this activity relating to this compliance.
So can I just cut in there, Phil? So if I did a checklist last week, and then let's say it was a worksite inspection checklist, and I had to tick it off and run through it every week to week I would use the same QR code, but it would register in the system a timestamp. Is that correct? Therefore, showing that progression of compliance over time?
That's exactly right. You're looking at, it would actually put it in the register saying that Rick Nuske did it at this time, this date, time you did it, and not only that, if there was any actions or items from that checklist, that actually list all those items that from the previous checklist that was done. So you can actually see, okay, this checklist was done, and last time I did this checklist, this item here something was wrong. So you can actually see exactly what you were saying. So, but you could scan that QR code there. I've actually made that QR code what's called public, which is probably one of the best features in the system now. What does public mean? That means that anyone with a QR code, even watching this presentation, scans that QR code, it will bring up that checklist on that screen on their phone or on their mini iPad without them even being logged into the system.
And that's a really good feature there, Phil, for, say, somebody who's a head contractor and they want to do a quick spot audit.
Exactly right. Because you can actually when you build a checklist, you can even relate it to a contract if you wanted to as well. And when you actually do that, so you can create that QR code, you can stick it on maybe even a forklift for a pre-start checklist, or a machine for a pre-start checklist, or on a site that you want them to actually follow, maybe an opening and closing procedure. You can make it that, yes, it's not public, so the person has to be logged in, but to make it easy for the employee, they just literally scan that QR code, do the checklist, opens up the checklist, it saves it in the log under that person's name as well, and then they can do it. And then it takes you this is probably the #1 feature in the system now. Since I've put this in the system, it's gone hectic.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah, everyone has maintenance of some sort, whether it's for your site or whether it's for a machine or whatever it may be. You've got maintenance. So here, again, you can actually create a maintenance request form for a machine or a site. So you can make that maintenance request form public and then stick it wherever it may be on the wall in your building, or on the machine particularly, and then you're looking at when someone needs to do maintenance on that machine, if it's got a problem, they can scan that QR code, brings up a simple maintenance form on their phone, and they can actually then basically fill out a step-by-step form. It goes into the register as read. The maintenance manager gets email alerted. Not only that, puts it in his to-do list or her to-do list, they can't forget. They select the edit button. They can then farm that out to an internal person or to a contractor, complete with work order number. Does it all.
Wow. So that's it's very hierarchical and very inclusive, and it's coming across to me. Having used it, I know a little bit more about it than others, but there is the risk of oversighting something is very minimal. But not only that, you want to work health safety can and historically has been seen as a bit of a pest in the workday for somebody who's focusing on getting the outcomes of what they're doing on that day. So to give you that that QR code, you're obviously turning it around, Phil, and making work health safety and other integrated parts of the system a welcome thing.
Yeah, exactly right. I had, say, for an example with this feature here, one of our clients down in Shoalhaven. They have 10 sites. They're a disability service. They had 10 houses that they were looking after children with disabilities. And I said to Judy, I said, how are you actually managing your maintenance for all these different sites with the machines and the site and so forth? She goes, Phil, the ladies fill out a form and they bring it in, they put it in the tray once a week, and then Mary gets it and she does this, and yeah, most of the time, yeah, it's a long process and it takes a bit of time and so forth. I said, Judy, let's go to here. Here's the site section. Let's develop a maintenance request form, QR code for each one of those sites. Did that. She stuck it on the wall and basically scan that QR code, brings up the simple form. You can even make the responses that the person makes, automatically goes into the maintenance manager. I said, how easy is that? She's just gone, this unbelievable. So she actually sent me a photo a couple of weeks later. Says, Phil, look at this. All the ladies, we've got all the QR codes. It's all on the walls. They're all using it. It saves us that much time and money. And these ladies, I mean, they were really not what you call computer savvy or phone savvy or anything like that. And they could actually use the QR code literally because it was that easy. That's how easy it was.
They're converted.
So it's opened up. They're converted.
Yeah.
And then like with this audit builder here, well, most of the companies are going from audits like they were. So, you know, this disability service, childcares and councils and large businesses, they're going for audits. People might want some types of accreditation. So in the system, you can actually build your own audit and then relate all the documents throughout the system, link it in this section. I got that idea where one of our clients, I went to go see her a year or so ago, and she had all these documents all over her desk. I said, Lee, what are you doing? She goes, oh, I'm just trying to comply to ISO 9001, Phil. And I went, nah, it's got to be easier than that. She goes, I printed out all the documents in the system. And I went, no. You're in the system. Why don't I make a process where you can link it to them? So that there, it's been a real big feature, especially for government agencies and any kind of business that wants to actually show compliance and you know, do an audit of some sort.
Can I just jump in there, Phil? I
Yep.
just see this fantastic opportunity. We talk about integrated management system. From my experience, we're now talking about, you know, quality systems here, and you mentioned 9001 a second ago. From a certification perspective, we are really now seeing a one-stop shop of systems management, compliance, and if you're the top of the tree inside of a business, you know, depending on what legislation you fall under and where you are in the world, let's use Australia, the person who's conducting the business or undertaking, then, you know, you should be fairly excited to see this sort of a tool, because I presume, Phil, that you can be included in the distribution of keynotes and tags, etc. Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's what happened inside the system, and actually that's not even one of the top features here, but you've got a meeting builder inside there where you can actually build and create your own meeting. You can link it to all these different people. You can set yourself agenda and actions, and what it does, it automatically puts out of every meeting you have an action. Consultation is a big part of, you know, legislation, and you're looking at with that meeting builder. What it does, it just shows that you consulted with the employees. They have access to a certain kind of the areas, but you've actually set actions. It just goes into their to-do list, and it makes people accountable. And that's where this online e-learning module does it as well. So you can actually create your own online e-learning modules into the system, and I mean easily. We've got a couple of like country kind of people that were using the system, and to say that they weren't too good on the computer was maybe an understatement. But you know what? And they've gone, oh, we won't be able to build these inductions. I went, yeah, I'll show you how to do it. And because there's step-by-step instructions inside the system that show you you can't get it wrong. I'm a believer in making sure that if someone can't use it, well, I want to make sure people are using my product. So and so you build these online e-learning modules in there. You can actually assign it to people. It just goes in their to-do list. They do online e-learning.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually putting a QR code and making these public. You can imagine you built an induction for a machine or a site. Instead of having to log into a system and do all this kind of stuff, you go up, you scan a QR code, it brings up a list of your names, you select your name, you do the induction, then sign on screen and saves it in your records, not even logged into the system.
Job done.
How easy would that be?
Yeah, job done.
Job done. And, you know, we had one client, they had 300 employees, they were spending over $30,000 in online e-learning modules because it's expensive. And their system for 300 employees was just over the $10,000 mark. They said, we'll take it.
Mm.
And that was just based on one feature, let alone they got the benefits of all the others.
Yeah, it quickly pays itself back. That's for sure. And certainly, if I was a business owner, I'd be certainly excited to know that, look, what was reasonable and fair and practicable for me to do, and this would be a large part of building that record of compliance, which is, you know, not necessarily the sexiest topic in the world, but it's certainly up there with one of the most important.
Yep, yep. And then, so for an example, logging incidents, well, you've got to record incidents, major part of legislation. So here, again, you can actually do a QR code and you can make that QR code public. Now people actually will do it instead of filling in a form. They fill in a very simple online form, goes into the register as read. A person can then select a button and do a whole investigation process, which is already in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Goes orange. They can then actually select the corrective actions, develop corrective measures, and set actions. So people actually implement the corrective measures. Goes green. And then if the person has actually got time off work, it automatically goes into the return to work register, which I'll show you coming up soon. But the system develops a whole series of graph reports as well as exportable Excel CSV reports that the people can analyze exactly true trends and what's happening and where it's going to. And then, like you mentioned before about contractors. So everyone's using contractors in some way or another.
Mm.
So I had a couple of people say, no, we don't use contractors. I've gone, well, who actually comes in, actually tests and tags your fire extinguishers and so forth? They go, oh yeah, okay, a contractor. I said, you need to make sure that the contractor is undertaking any work for you has got the proper qualifications and they've got all the proper safe work processes, but making sure that they're actually insured and got all the different things that they need to have. So it's that's right, and this is what this system does. We've got one company who's got 450 contracting companies in their system. They use this module. This is their module that they love because it manages all their compliance and duty care related to contractor management. You can even build a checklist related to the contractor and it saves in their records. But we also preload a contractor induction that you can send out to the contractor as well. But this one also, when the contractor enters all their data in, it actually stores it in your back end with all their documents. But it also creates a ID card for that contractor with photo. So therefore, if they're coming out on your site, you can say, make sure you wear your ID card. It comes complete with QR code. You can scan that QR code on that contractor, and it will bring up to make sure that all these contractors, companies, and insurances are all in place.
You know what? You could stop and think about that for a second, because if you think about major projects and you've just won a tender and you've been the fortunate person, you've shown that you're using this system, you know, you can, I suspect, configure this such that they have done their induction prior to coming on site, let alone the on-site one that you do. But this really, you know, changes the game for a lot of small businesses, I'm sure.
Exactly right. On that ID card, it will actually highlight if this person's actually done the induction or not. That's it, and when you scan it, it'll highlight it as well. So it's you know, that's a couple of these features. I'm always trying to make it with the end user in mind to actually make their business run more efficient, because you know what, compliance can be a burden, but it shouldn't be. So, and you're looking at, we've like created a system that, well, it just makes it effective for them. Like hazard management, again, like people are going like, I mentioned I got every race course. I went to one of these race courses and they go, so what is a hazard? And I just mentioned, I said, well, see that step out there that you've just fixed? I can tell because it's brand new and you've got formwork around and you barricaded around it.
Mm.
I said, why did you fix that? And they said, well, because it was broken. We saw it was broken. I've gone, so you saw it was broken. Well, that's a hazard. It's a hazard, was broken. Someone stepped on it, they're going to hurt themselves. And the hazard, you know, anything that can likely cause incident or harm to a person.
A potential source of harm, isn't it?
Exactly right. So, and I said, what you've done, you've identified it. You've actually then assessed it. Said we need to get it fixed. You got the guy in to come and get it fixed. Hopefully, he was a qualified contractor. You got him to fix it, and and then it's all ready to go. I said, the only thing you've done wrong here is that you didn't register in your hazard register to show compliance. So, like legislation, if someone comes out to investigate you, one of the first things they're going to go to is going to go to your incident and your hazard register. And they're going to say, well, hang on a sec, you're trying to tell me you've had no incidents, you've had no hazards. that's not right. So I said, according to legislation, it's not just word of mouth. You've actually got to show it, and it's a great way for you to actually enter into the system. So this makes it easier as well. I've actually created the QR code here, and when you scan that there, it automatically you can make that public as well, and it goes into the register. It takes you through the entire hazard process. And then, say for an example, if someone does get injured, as I mentioned before, this return to work feature, well, a lot of people wouldn't even know how to do a return to work plan. This is kind of targeted for the larger kind of clients as well. I was down doing a presentation to a large council in Victoria, and they mentioned that their return to work process was taking one of their employees 15 hours a week to do, because they had to calculate all the hours and the wage rates, and then type it into the payroll system. They said, if you can actually solve that problem, that's going to be a fantastic system. Well, I did. So basically created this return to work process. You can actually just hit time that person starts, time the person finishes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday that they're working, and automatically calculates their wage. You can actually then print that out, export all the people in that, the current people, give it to payroll, and they can actually do this. But this actually creates, you can develop a return to work plan for an employee, and it also graphs all the different, all the time frames for all the plans that they've actually done. So I'm pretty proud of that.
I sit here and I think to myself, as a somebody who works in this space, amongst others, about the relationships that you must have as a business owner with WorkCover Corporation, regardless of which jurisdiction you're in, and the allocated return to work coordinator who's representing workers' compensation, and to be able to show them that, look, you have a systematic and repeatable method for demonstrating our commitment, what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, the number of hours that we've worked against that accepted plan. Of course, everybody has to accept that, this is the return to work plan, and then Bain, as you can see on the screen here, is that return to work plan where you're logging the hours actually worked against the plan. I mean, it's just amazing. It's the way to go, isn't it?
Yeah. I had a couple of workers' compensation companies have a look at this feature, and I kind of picked their brain, and they went, wow, this is we haven't seen anything like this. So I try to, like when we create stuff, is like we try to create it with the end user in mind to make their life easy. That's what we're trying to do here. So it's and then you're looking at, this is just another client, just basically they like the policy and procedure area, which is really it's a good section and so forth. The procedure section is going to be a great feature at the end of this year. I've got some plans for that as well, because we upgrade the system. Major upgrades every weekly, major upgrades every 3 months, but then you're looking at minor little kind of tweaks with customers put in and say, geez, it'd be really good if it had this such and such and such and such here. I don't do it for every single kind of request, but if it's something I can see that, that is going to improve that system, and that will make it easier for the end user to use, I try to put that in the system, and we send out little notifications and videos to people to say, here you go, here's a new upgrade in the system, here's a change, and it's just trying to inform people all the time. The system does have a help section with a ticket. They can lodge a ticket, so they've got support all the time, as well as with consultants as well.
You know what? At the end of the day, Phil, you're doing what your system is planning to deliver for others, is that you have a continuous improvement focus, and you're demonstrating that by having that that ongoing commitment to development. So thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
No, thank you for your time.
Yeah, not a problem at all. So putting that aside now, Phil, my future business and the community is, I've spoken with some pretty significant people around the globe, leaders of industries, leaders of business, software, and businesses, whatever types. And one of the things that I get a lot of positive response from, Phil, is going away from the business for a moment and actually talking about the people behind the business, because I think we can easily get caught up in this vacuum about just talking about the business and the moving parts, which is all fine and dandy. But I actually get some value from learning a bit about people like yourself. Can we talk about you for a little bit?
Most people reckon I like talking about myself a little bit, don't they?
Well, this should be right up your alley then. No, look, this is just this is just like a chat over a beer, if you like, and
Sure.
because at the end of the day, I get a lot of people saying, well, how do I know these people? Why should I trust this person? And who's he from the next bar of soap on the street? So whereabouts are you? You're obviously in Australia.
Yes, located in Norwest Business Park in Sydney.
Okay, is that Balhanna? Not Balhanna. Where am I thinking?
Bella Vista.
Borkham Hills, that's right.
Borkham Hills.
Yeah,
I've
done a lot of work there, just down the way from the Woolworths main distribution point.
Actually, where the Woolworths main distribution point is,
yep.
I'm literally 400 metres from there. That's where we are.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little place for an industrial lot, isn't it?
It is.
It's a nice place to have lunch at some of the places around there as well. But so what's the go with Phil? What's he do when he's not working, or does he work all day every day?
Yeah, I work a lot. So you got you got to do that when you're running your business, and also like servicing clients and so forth. So I do like playing sport. I was a former sportsman in my life. Played first grade squash for a long period of time. So so I love sports and doing sports. And then kind of my unfortunately in 2007 or 2003, I was diagnosed with a chronic kidney disease. And so from that chronic kidney disease, I ended up going on dialysis in 2007. So so I was on dialysis 5 times a day, every day, and which was pretty hard to take at the start, but I had to make it part of my life.
Yeah.
And there's no use whinging about it. So I was running this business while on dialysis. So I would actually you might like this one. So if I got an agent in Tasmania. So I would literally drive. I'd be doing dialysis in the car on the way to the airport. I would actually get to the airport. I'd actually be over the luggage because I'd have to be taking 3 or 4 bags of dialysis down there, 2-kilo bags. I'd get down, I'd fly down. My agent would pick me up at the airport.
Yep.
I'd sit in the back seat, do dialysis on the way to our client. I'd go to the client, do the presentation, and then you're looking at. I'd jump in the car again, do dialysis on the way back to the airport, and then jump on the plane, come home, do dialysis on the way home.
Wow.
So and somehow I did that for 6.5 years, 5 times a day. Don't know how I did it, but and then I just did it. I got I got sick. I got pneumonia, and my my renal expert is the #1 expert in Australia, Professor Chapman.
Yeah.
Amazing man. And basically he came visited me and said, look, I think it's time we need to, because I was his blue-eyed boy, I'd be doing talks in front of all the dialysis patients and telling them, you know what, your life isn't over. You can live a semi-normal life if you got to make what you can make out of life. Do you know what I mean? So, which I love doing, because I used to have people come up to me in the streets and go, I just want to thank you. You did a talk in front of my husband, and he thought he was going to lose his job, but he didn't, and he worked, and all because you told him that he could do it. And it just made me feel really, really good that all these people could understand that their life wasn't over. But then when I got too sick, and I got the call in the Sunday morning at 6 o'clock on December the 16th, 2012.
Yep.
Remember that quite well. And it was 6 o'clock in the morning. I've just gone, who's ringing me up at 6 o'clock in the morning? And I wasn't going to answer. I thought it was one of my golf mates wanting me to come down to golf. And I've gone, my dad was sick at that point of time, and I've gone, I better answer it. It might be Mum. So it answered the phone. They said, Phil Bamford. I went, yeah. They said, we've got a kidney here for you. If you're down here within 2 hours, it's yours.
Wow.
I've gone, okay.
I bet you never moved quicker in your life.
Never moved quicker in my life. So literally went down there, and the next thing you know, literally just whirled straight into the operation. Wake up. It's a 4-hour operation, and wake up, and here I've got a kidney.
Wow.
So
No, I'm telling you right now, I stop and I start to tingle when I start digging that one layer deep behind the people, behind the businesses, and that story is just so inspirational on so many different levels, and it's just brought a new level of understanding about you, Phil. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. So thank you.
No problem.
So I've followed you around the place online. I've seen a few different things. You seem to like sports cars, if I recall correctly. Do you have an affinity for nice cars?
Yeah, well, you know what? I got a nice Mercedes, not an expensive one, just a nice white one. So it's just nice little CLA 200. I bought those cars out. They're beautiful cars. I just love it. So at the end of the day, I like cars, but I wouldn't waste a lot of money on them. So it's I'm kind of practical wise as well. I'd rather spend money on my family kind of thing instead of money on like the car I've got's a nice car, and you know what, I think I'll probably keep it for a long time.
Yeah.
So no matter how good things get.
I'm always interested to know what sort of drive people have got. At the end of the day, I think it reflects their way of thinking, and if there's nothing else that people take out of this, is to know that if you're hit with challenges in life, and we all are, there is a definite phase we all go through, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get through this. But to be running a business that had been established for some years prior to this life-changing episode that you've been through, and to come out the other side and just be smashing it out of the park with online WHS system, just about to go global with IMS and all these other things that you're doing. It's very exciting, and I just want to ask you now, Phil, how do people who are interested in what you've shared with them today get involved, get in front of you to get a demonstration before we wrap it up?
Well, what they can actually do is they can contact you if they like to. So it's and then they contact you, and you can just forward their details to us.
Yep.
And then our girls in our office will basically arrange a meeting and book in an online meeting. It will be with me, one-on-one with me. So so I got some great employees. So Michael Fulcher, my general manager, and then I've got Lisa and Louise. They're fantastic. So they actually tell me where to go, what to do.
In a nice way, of course.
You're exactly, in a nice way. So it's you're going here on this date, this. So they kind of organise the schedule and organise things. Michael manages the company, which is fantastic. And then you're looking at it's so. Yeah, if they contact you, they can book in and then you can forward the details to Lisa, and then that way there we can arrange an online meeting, and I'll kind of tailor the presentation to your business, so how to get the most out of it.
For everybody who's listening to this, definitely, if you'll see below the post here, an opt-in form of sorts that will get you in direct contact with me. It's the first step you need to take to get a booking and a demonstration by Phil himself. So make sure to take advantage of it. If you do nothing else, take a look at this system. I have used it in the past a long time ago, and obviously it's come a long way since.
You've seen a lot of changes.
A lot of changes since back when. But the fact that it's been around for so long should actually tell you something if you read between the lines. So look, Phil, thanks very much, mate. Going to wrap it up now, and I will speak with you again soon.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time.